All right, now we're talking serious business. SAP-Oriented SQL. This is where you go from being just another SQL person to being someone who can actually work with enterprise systems. And let me tell you, companies pay big money for people who understand both SQL and SAP, the enterprise reality. Here's something most SQL courses won't tell you. A huge chunk of the world's business data lives in SAP systems. We're talking Fortune 500 companies, major manufacturers, global retailers. If you want to work with the big players, you need to understand how SQL works in the SAP world. Why SAP matters. Look, SAP isn't just another database. It's how enterprises run their entire business: finance, HR, supply chain, manufacturing, everything. When you know SQL in SAP context, you're not just querying data, you're potentially impacting million-dollar business processes. What you're mastering. Module 4.1, SQL in SAP HANA Foundation. SAP HANA is where things get interesting. It's not your typical database. It's in memory, which means it's incredibly fast, but also means you need to think differently about how you write queries. You'll learn how SAP structures business data. Customer master data, material master, sales documents, these aren't just tables. They're business objects that represent real-world processes. When you query a sales order, you're not just pulling numbers, you're accessing someone's actual business transaction. Module 4.2, SAP HANA Business Scenarios. This is where theory meets reality. You'll work with actual SAP data models. Think purchase orders, invoice processing, inventory management. The cool part: every query you write could potentially be something a business analyst needs for real reporting. SAP has its own way of organizing data. Instead of simple customer tables, you have business partner master data with complex relationships. Instead of basic product info, you have material master with dozens of views for different business functions. Module 4.3, Applying SQL in SAP Business Modules. Now you're thinking like an SAP consultant. Different business modules: finance, sales, materials management. Each has its own data structures and business logic. You'll learn how to navigate these modules and extract meaningful insights. The career angle. Here's the thing about SAP skills. They're incredibly valuable, but not everyone has them. Most SQL people work with simple databases. SAP requires understanding complex business processes and technical skills. That combination is rare and well compensated. Real-world impact. When you master SAP SQL, you can answer questions like, show me all purchase orders where delivery is overdue, or calculate inventory turnover by plant and material group. These aren't just academic exercises. They're reports that help companies make operational decisions. The learning curve. I won't lie, SAP can be overwhelming at first. The data models are complex. There's tons of business terminology, and everything seems interconnected. But that's exactly why these skills are valuable. Most people get intimidated and give up. Practice strategy. Use the U2X AI assistant to understand SAP business concepts alongside the SQL. Ask questions like, explain SAP material master structure, or how do sales orders connect to delivery documents? The business context is just as important as the technical syntax. Enterprise thinking. Working with SAP teaches you to think at enterprise scale. You'll understand concepts like organizational structures, business areas, controlling areas, stuff that matters when you're dealing with multinational corporations. The confidence factor. Once you can navigate SAP data structures, regular databases feel simple. You develop a different level of analytical thinking because SAP forces you to understand business processes, not just data relationships. Success tips. Don't just memorize table names. Understand what business processes they represent. Learn the SAP terminology alongside the SQL syntax. Practice with realistic business scenarios, not just technical exercises. Career opportunities. SAP SQL skills open doors to business analyst roles, SAP consulting positions, and enterprise reporting jobs. These typically pay significantly more than generic SQL positions because you're bringing both technical and business process knowledge. Ready to level up to enterprise-grade SQL? SAP might seem complex, but that complexity is exactly what makes these skills so valuable in the job market.